Alright, so welcome guys to another video, and today we have a really exciting earphone. This is actually the CST from CCA, and what's really interesting here is this is just under $10, but we have a wood casing to it. So that's actually the first time that I saw that under $20, and that might be a really good value because it might give you a different sound on the ear, and definitely under that $10 it's something that everybody can afford. So let's unbox this thing. Of course, a big thanks to Easy for sending this over. Links down below for their shop. You're getting actually a small box here, and you're getting that wood design and actually gold trims, which looks really cool, especially for the price that you're paying for CCA CST natural sound wooden in-ear earphone. And at the other side, you're getting 20 grams, 24 ohm impedance, 3.5mm jack, 20 to 20 kHz in frequency range. So yeah, really minimalist box overall, and because this is a wooden box, we're getting a wooden knife for our unboxing. So inside you're getting that earphone, and actually yes, not a lot in the box. So you're getting that earphone right away, and some manuals as well. And actually these are Starline tips, and here you're getting that IEM right away. And actually yes, this is not removable cable. So this is more of maybe Sennheiser CX300 style or your Xiaomi earbud style. And yes, from the get-go, this looks really cool. You're getting that wood design and also gold trims. So definitely for the price that you're paying for, this is one of the more stylish ones that I have seen. So you're getting some gold trims, and you're getting that really wood cranes there. So definitely looks really cool on that. You're getting that maybe earphone design as well. Very similar to the Xiaomi piston fits in the look overall. You're getting that maybe mobile style cable as well, and you're also getting an L plug at the top. So actually this is the first time that I have seen this from CCA, but definitely yes, the lobes here are really cool. Though of course I think this might be a good modding platform as well for people, because yeah, the cable is not your usual enthusiast cable, so some may mod this to have maybe removable cables, or maybe change up the cables, upgrade them as well. So I think this will be a nice modding platform. So yes, let's try this on the ear. And now we are wearing it on our ear, and it's actually really good looking for a $10 pair. So you have that gold trims, you have that wooden style to it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the overall look on the ear. In terms of stability, this is just okay. It actually goes inside your ear, so it's quite stable, but this won't beat out your maybe IEM counterparts. Isolation wise, this is just average for me, so not the best in this. So this is more of a casual listening pair. In terms of comfort, these are actually very comfortable to wear because it's quite breathable on the ear. It's quite a small IEM, so you can listen to this for a long listening session. And actually what's surprising here as well, for the price that you're paying for, this actually has some weight to it as well, so you can definitely feel it on the ear. So yeah, for me overall build quality, it's just the cable that I have an issue with, but the rest is really nice. The lobes really looks nice for me, especially for the price that you're paying for, especially with that wood trims. It punches above its weight in the overall look for me. So let's have a first listen. So let's have a listen to some maybe Let's Groove Earth, Wind and Fire. So first, the bass is actually substantial in the mix, so it has some boom to it, but actually this is not the most boomy bass that I've heard. It still has some quickness to the overall bass response. It also has some shimmer on top as well. It has some extension on top, so for me it's actually well extended on top. It's also a musical type of listen, a fun type of listen for me. So in terms of the overall signature, this kind of reminds me of maybe the KB or KS1. So we're gonna see later in the signature, but we might be seeing maybe double horns at the top. So yeah, very lively sounding on the ear. I like the vocal presentation as well. So actually in that price range, maybe one of the better vocals that I have seen. The vocal is full and also quite smooth as well. Really full-bodied vocal here. So this might be a bright U type of shape. So let's try another track, maybe some I Shot the Sheriff, Eric Clapton. So yes, it has some shimmer on top, but yeah, the top is not that peaky to listen to, but definitely there's some peak there, but not that peaky. So the cymbals here still have fairly good body. There might be some hotness here in the vocal region, so it's that revealing for me. And yes, the bass in this track is really prominent. has some boom, but again, not overly boomy. So in terms of the soundstage, it's not that big. So it has a little bit of out of the ear experience, but still for me, it's quite an intimate soundstage. Let's try some That's What I Like Bruno Mars. Yes, the bass here is really prominent in the mix. So there might be still some mid-bass bleed in this, but I would say not as bad as other, bassy IEMs that I have heard. And again, in this track, I really like the vocal here. So for vocal heads, this might be right down your alley. So I like that the vocal has, some snap to the vocal. It's not boring vocals at all. It's quite revealing, and it's big in the mix as well. So yeah, again, one of the better vocals that I have seen. So the bass here doesn't go that deep, so maybe that's one downside in this, but again, the bass is really prominent in the mix here. Let's try some Joe Satriani jumping in. So you also have some micro detail here as well. Not the most detailed pair, but you have some micro detail here in jumping in. It's a guitar track. Some distorted guitars receives the micro detail. So it has some quickness to the presentation as well. So you have, some micro dynamics showing here in this track. But again, not the, most micro detail that I've heard. So the cymbals here, has a bit of thinness there, but not so bad overall again. So it's not that peaky to listen to. So let's try some female vocals, Paramore Hard Times. So I like here in this track how lively the sound is. So yeah, for the percussions, it has a bit more snap there to the sound. There's a bit more liveliness to the sound. So I really like how, natural the sound, presents to your ear on this. So even for female vocals, I like the presentation overall. It's quite revealing in the mix. And yeah, really lively to listen to. So the vocals, again, the positioning is a bit less than what I would like. But I would say for a U type of shape, not so bad overall. And I like how the bass is really lively in the mix here. So maybe one of the more dynamic that I've listened to in that price range. So it has some physicality to the overall sound. So maybe this reminds me of some blonde type of sound, but with less bass. So it has that vibes to it, and yeah, with more recessed vocal. Let's try some Ariana Grande Into You. Yeah, the female vocal is nice. So it has that micro dynamics in Ariana Grande's vocal. It has some air as well and some snap in the sound. So actually one of my favorite closed back portable headphones is the ESW 950s. It's a wood back, but yeah, this kind of reminds me of that kind of presentation. Has that warmth to the sound, has that physicality to the sound. So you have that kind of vibes here. Yeah, there's maybe just one issue for me here is you have some hotness here, especially in the vocal region. Maybe some Everything Means Nothing. So yeah, in this track, it is an instrumental track. So the snare still has pretty good body for me. The guitars have that dynamism to the sound. So maybe just the cymbals, it's not the thickest cymbal here. I still have some peakiness in the cymbals part. So let's try to measure it. I am really interested to check out the signature here. So we already did some measurements, and as I suspected, you have the double horns at the top. So it has a very CCA type of sound for me. So you have that 12K peak still, but usually for CCAs, the 12K is more recessed compared to your usual KZs. So actually compared to the TRN MT1 as well, so the 12K here is more recessed as well. So it has some shimmer on top, but not that peaky to listen to. But definitely you have a U type of shape through and through. So from the bass region, you're getting that dip. I'm going to around the 1K region, and after 1K, you get a slight hump to around 1.5K. Then after that, it goes down to around 2K. Then after that, it goes up to around 3.5K. Then after that, you get your first peak on top at around 7K, 6K. And then after that, it goes down to around 10K. And then after that, you have that 13K peak on top. That will give you more air frequencies. So this is a very 2021 signature. But usually for CCAs, the 12K is more recessed in the mix. So again, it's not that peaky to listen to. But actually that 6.5K still gives some cymbals, some thinness. But yes, it also gives you that energy on top. So actually here, the bass is substantial, but it's not overly bassy. There's not a super bassy pair. Actually for bass heads, it just edges it out. It can be for bass heads, but I would still recommend other bass heads IEMs for this. This still quite controlled in the mix, and actually around 6.5K, it really gives that energetic top. I really like the peak here. It's not overly done for me. So compared to the VK4, so actually in the mix, the VK4 still has more forward mids. So the CST for me is still more V-shaped to listen to. Still more lively to listen to. So the VK4 is still gonna be more relaxed on the ear. So the VK4 has that maybe 5K elevation, but it doesn't have that 6.5K peak on top. And the VK4 also doesn't have that 12K, 13K peak on top. So when you listen to them side by side, the VK4 will sound more relaxed. Your CST will be more lively to listen to, more fun to listen to. So compared to the MT1, so the MT1 still has that double horns at the top, but it has different elevations. So the peak in the MT1 is around 5K, and also the air frequency peak in the MT1 is around maybe 12K compared to the CCA that it pushes in front a bit. So actually here the elevation at around 6K maybe reminds me of the Blonde Mini. So it has that similar elevation at around 6.5K. But actually the Blonde Mini doesn't have that elevation at around 13K. So here you're getting more air frequencies. So this might explain that energetic top. It still has that shimmer on top here. So it gives it a really exciting type of listen. Alright, so we did some further listening on the CST and compared it also with the VK4 and the MT1. And yes, I find this to be the brighter of the group. So definitely your VK4 doesn't have that 12K peak. And also your MT1, while it still has that double horns at the top, the MT1 is definitely more bassy. So compared to the MT1, so the MT1 is definitely more bass boosted on the ear. The stage also in the MT1 is more closed in. Still lively sounding in the MT1. But your CST for me is even more lively, especially with that clarity at the top. And the vocal also is thinner in the MT1 as well. And the cymbals are thinner in the MT1 as well. So compared to the CST, so the CST is definitely more lively on the ear, has more physicality, dynamism to the sound as well. And also less bassy in the CST. So the CST has more clarity at the top. It has more shimmer at the top in the CST. Also bigger stage as well in the CST. So for this, if you like more clarity at the top and that lively kind of sound, you might like the CST. So if you like more boosted bass, you might like still the MT1. But for this comparison, in my personal preference, I do like the CST more. I like the dynamism in the sound, the technicalities of the micro dynamics for this, and also I do like the vocal here. It's nice and full for me in the mix. So compared to the VK4, so the VK4 has a more of a relaxed sound over the CST. So the CST in comparison is even more lively to listen to. Also, the VK4 has more relaxed vocal as well, so no shoutiness for me in the vocal in the VK4, and that's definitely an advantage for some. The bass is also more relaxed in the mix, more mellow in the mix, more toned down in the mix. So better separation for me in the VK4 as well because of the more controlled bass. So compared to the CST, so the CST has more impactful bass in the mix. So the dynamism in the bass in the CST is more pronounced in the mix. The vocal positioning is more recessed as well in the CST. So again, that V type of shape is showing. When you compare it to the VK4, more lively listen though in the CST overall. Has more thinness on top though in the cymbals here, so the cymbals are better for me in the VK4. Also has more shimmer on top in the CST as well. So the CST has that 12K peak, and that definitely gives it more musicality to the sound. Has more hotness though in the CST, so this is more shouty to listen to. So I would say a tip change will be needed for this to tone down the vocal here. And also on top, the tonality for me is still better in the VK4. A more revealing sound though in the CST, again more dynamic, more lively kind of sound. So the CST over the VK4 is closer to maybe a live band feel. So it has that maybe presentation to the overall sound over the VK4. So quite different sound on the ear in this. So the VK4 has more relaxed and toned down presentation. But the vocal for me, the positioning is really nice. The CST is more lively to listen to, a very CCA type of sound on the ear. So for me, again, both are nice for the price. It will depend on your preference. If you like a more lively and closer to a live band feel, you might like the CST. If you like a more relaxed sound on the ear and better vocal positioning, you might like the VK4. If you're gonna ask me personally, in my personal preference, I might still go with the VK4 because I do like the more body in the cymbals, and also the positioning of the vocal is good for me. Alright, so for the CST, let's try to close this thing. So this is a really nice value earphone. So actually in 2021, I'm seeing a lot more and more IEMs that is really nicely tuned and really nice value as well, and this falls in that category for me. So it has really nice build quality for me. It has that wood good grains, and I would say punches above its weight in the overall build quality. It's just the cable that I have an issue with, but I would say this will be a nice modding platform if you want change up the cables in the future. But the lobes are really nice for me. Has had gold trims and that tuning as well in presentation to the ear. So it's the first time that I heard of something like this, this kind of presentation, that dynamism to the sound, liveliness in the sound in that price range. So definitely under $10, it's a different sound on the ear, and for some people you might like this more than the VK4. And of course here in the CST, that sound, I would say it's a nice tuning overall. If you have listened to other CCAs before, you're gonna get a CCA sound in this. You're getting the 12K peak, the double horns at the top. The 12K peak is not that prominent compared to your usual KZs. And the mids as well, the presentation is quite lively to the mix, quite revealing in the mix. This is the closest that I can get to a live band feel under $10, and that's definitely a unique selling point for me. So yes, for $10, this definitely goes to my top 5, and I really like the CST as well. That's my take in the CST. Of course, if you learned something, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. So actually, I do have several sub $10 and sub $20 IEMs that arrived here in the studio, so I will be covering more of them. I'm still catching up. I have maybe 5 of them to review and unbox. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I can finish them all. And yeah, because I do have other IEMs as well that's coming in other price ranges. So I'm trying to pick up my pace and doing my videos. So actually, some videos might not be as detailed as other videos. So some videos may be just an unboxing, but hopefully I can still cover as much as I can on each IEM to make you guys choose if the IEM is for you or not. And I will do some reviews here and there, but I will try to cover as much as I can first, because unboxings are more feasible for me to do given the amount of IEMs that I need to cover. So yes, stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next zpolt review. Bye bye.